So now we're going to take a look at what you can do in a meeting. And because the meeting controls are a little bit different in the web version and the app version, we're going to take a look at both. So we're going to start with the web, and then I will go to the app. So this blue color tells us that the meeting is already in progress. We can see we're pretty late to it, so we're going to join in this meeting. So we can see that we can turn our camera on or off. It is good practice to have your camera on, especially at the start of classes, but because it can get distracting while I'm doing this, while I'm giving a tutorial, I am going to turn our camera off for now. So we're going to join in this class. And so we can see that this would be our teacher and our classmates on the screen. Right now, because it's just me in the same room, to avoid terrible feedback, you can see that our teacher, Sarah, is muted. Normally, that would not actually be the case. Now, teachers are human too, and there may be a time where your teacher starts talking, but they're still muted, and you can still see that line through their mic. So if that happens, just politely let them know. So from here, we can take a look at our meeting controls, and again, we can turn our camera on or off. So I can turn the camera on. Then I can see myself. Again, I'll open it up just so you can see that yes, I am actually here. Just don't want to be distracted with too many things going on at once. So that will be where you can see yourself. And some of the controls that we have down here, you can mute yourself and unmute yourself. You can raise your hand to let your teacher know that you have a question. You can show the conversation, and that's very important. A lot of times teachers will be using the chat for many different things, so it is very important that you know where this is in both views so that you can find the chat and open it up. Now, if there are messages in there, you'll get a little orange dot. So we can see our teacher's just sent a message. We can click on that and open it up, and there it is. Our teacher has said hello. So if you want to see who else is in your class, that's what Show Participants will tell you. And right now it's just our test account and me as the teacher. But most of the time you're going to be spending in the chat. Now here is an important control. Anytime you see three dots like this, that's the More menu. And other things you can do will be hiding in there. So here, if we find that we're trying to talk, but we're not muted and our teacher says they can't hear us, we can go to our device settings from here. So we can double check that we're using the correct speakers so that we can hear our teacher. We can double check that we're using the correct microphone so that our teacher can hear us, and that we are using the correct camera. Now you won't need to worry too much about these at this level. If you want to make your meeting full screen, you can do it here. You can change the way your class looks using these gallery controls. And again, they're not going to do much because there's only 2 people in this meeting. But if you want to change your background, you can do it from here. So we can go to Show Background Effects, and we can see that we can scroll through a whole bunch of different backgrounds that are available to us. So if we feel that Minecraft is more us, we can preview it so that only we can see it. And if it looks good, we can apply and turn on our video, and we will have that nice Minecraft background. Now let's say that something's gone wrong and we need to show our teacher what's happening so they can guide us through. Right now, I'm not going to be able to do anything because this button here, which is our share button, is grayed out. But our teacher can change that. So we can see up at the top, our teacher has just made us a presenter. So now I can open the share tray. These are the things that are available for me to share in the web version of Teams. So I can go to desktop or window, and I can choose what I want to share. Now I can choose just an application, like if I want to share my Minecraft, I can do that, or I can share the entire screen. Now, most of the time I'm actually going to do share entire screen because a lot of times there are steps that are required outside of one single application. And you can see that I've actually got 3 screens, so I'm going to share screen 1. That's where my Minecraft is. If sound is important, you can turn on share system audio, but it usually isn't. And we'll go to share. So now I'm sharing my screen, and I actually get this little pop-up on the screen that I'm sharing that says that I'm doing it. So when I'm ready to stop sharing, I can just click on Stop Sharing, and we'll go back to just the regular meeting. So I'm going to leave the meeting here, and I'm going to join the meeting from the app. It's even thrown us a pop-up that tells us the meeting is in progress and it's time for us to join. So in the app version, as I've said before, the app version does everything the web version does, but with a little bit more control and a little bit more power. So we have our settings right in here. We can change the settings if we need to of our speakers and our microphone in the custom setup, but it's already here, and we have this added bonus that we can adjust the volume as well. We can turn on our video and pick our background. Now, the nice thing about the app version that the web version doesn't have is if we have a cool, say, Minecraft build that we want to share, we can actually add our own background as well. You do want to make sure that this is appropriate. If you're not sure, you can always check with your teacher first, but you can see that down here I have a few of my own Minecraft builds, and then one that Good Times with Scar did that I just thought was really pretty and liked as my background. So I'm going to choose that one as my background for this meeting. We can again use the gear to adjust our settings if we want, so we can get to it from here or here. And we can go ahead and join our meeting. So once again, we have our teacher here. The big difference between the app version and the web version is in the app version, your controls are up at the top. And again, you have just a little bit more you can do and a little bit more control. So here's our chat that we had before, and just like before, if there's a new message, you'll get a little orange dot that tells you that there's a new message in there. But remember before we could just raise our hand, now we have some other reactions. We can still raise our hand to let our teacher know that we have a question, but if we like something, we can give it a thumbs up and that will pop up over our video. We can love something. We can give applause if somebody does something really great. We can laugh if there was something funny that happened, or we can show surprise if something really surprising happens during class. So we have a bit more that we can do. We can turn our camera on and off through here. We can turn our microphone on and off through here. And in our More menu, again, we have a few more options. So we can adjust our device settings from here. Just like before, we can readjust the microphone if we need to, or our speakers, or our video. We can change the view. So again, this isn't really going to apply unless we have more people in this meeting, but you can change where the gallery is. So if it's more comfortable for you to have all of your classmates up at the top, you can do it that way as well. You can change your background from here. So again, once the meeting starts, you can still change your background. You can add a new picture, but again, if you're not sure, check with your teacher to make sure it's appropriate. You don't really need to worry about these ones so much. Your teacher is in charge of recording. But down at the bottom, if you're finding you're doing something and the little chat bubbles are popping up, if your classmates are really active in the chat, you can actually turn those off here by muting Don't Show Chat Bubbles, muting Teams notifications. You can even turn off incoming video. But you really only want to use that if you're having a lot of internet connectivity issues, because it is going to be important to see your teacher's video. Now we're still the presenter from before, so our share screen controls are still here. So we can click on that share button and you can see that we have, again, a little bit more than we can do in the app. So once again, you can share just the screen or the window, but it's presented right here for us. So again, I will usually share my whole screen, but I could share just a window if I wanted to. You can start a whiteboard. This is really useful if you're working in breakout rooms, so it is good to know that that's there. You can start that for brainstorming. If you're in the main meeting, leave that for your teacher to start though. And then these are just some nice things you can do with presenter mode to make yourself kind of like a news reporter with yourself in the front and the screen in the background. You might have seen this effect with YouTubers during a stream. And again, if sound is important, you can turn on to include computer sound. But if sound isn't important, you're going to leave this off. So I can go ahead and share my Minecraft again. This is one of the advantages of using the app. So I'm sharing my Minecraft screen, but you can see that there's this red border now. And that tells me that this is the screen that is being shared. We don't have this with the web app. The other thing is I have my presenter controls up here. Now, unfortunately, my screen recorder wouldn't record our meeting controls, so I'm borrowing this video to show you the annotations. To start annotations, you can actually click on the pen, and that will start up like a Microsoft whiteboard so that you can draw on your own slides to illustrate your points. Or if you decide that everyone is going to be able to annotate, everyone can annotate together. And to stop it, you just click on that pen again. If you decided you needed sound after all, you can turn it on with the sound toggle here. And when you're ready to stop presenting, just click on the Stop Presenting button. You can also pin the meeting controls so that they don't go away when you're not hovering over them with your mouse. And I just want to take a second to take a closer look at some of the options you have for chat. So we're in the app version, but the web version is very, very similar. And you can type your messages in here, and that's great. If you need to format them, you can actually click on this formatting button, and now you have some options like bold, italic, underline, and you can even change the paragraph and the indenting or put in a quote. If you need to attach a file, you can click on the paperclip and pick where you want to attach your file from. Don't worry too much about this, you're not really going to use it. This is one you are though. This is the emoji. Quite often your teachers will ask you to respond with an emoji to let them know that you're on task and you're keeping up with them. So for example, if I ask my students, okay, can you do this? And then put a flower into the chat when you're done. I can look up a flower, I can pick one that I like, and I can put it into the chat. You can also add stickers. There are a lot of really fun ones. So if you see something really cool that you like, in goes our cool. And again, whenever you want to send your message, just click on the little paper airplane that is our send icon. And when you're all done and ready to leave the meeting, you can click on the big red leave button.